Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Alfred Smith, my brother. Man, tell everybody your credentials first. I'm really big on credentials. A lot of people have heard me say that I've wanted to expand into personal development, but I wasn't qualified to do it. And I've told many people that if you weren't going to lead it up, I wasn't going to do it at all. So go ahead and give me your background so we can get the audience educated.
Got you. Um, I have a PhD in management and leadership, but my focus was on the leader because leadership is the action, the leader's the person. So I focus on this. So I got a PhD in that because I totally believe that leadership changes everything. My background's in ministry. I was 30 years as a pastor, a little over that. And in my sojourn there, I got a Master of Divinity because I was always serious about what I was doing. Plus, I'm a little bit of a geek. So it was that. I sat on the board of a ministry that governed or we oversaw 3,000 churches and ministries or parachurch ministries altogether. So I did a lot of counseling, a lot of talking, a lot of training, a lot of team stuff, which is what I love. A lot of problem solving. I live to solve problems.
Yeah.
Forward thinking, those kind of things. I did that there. My undergrad work was in counseling, nuthetic counseling, but all that to say this: I'm pretty much built to help people. I don't do much else too well. Um, don't put tools in my hands for cars. I like them, and I like to bang around stuff, but I don't know what I'm doing. But
Yeah.
this is what I'm on Earth for. I'm not being anything other than honest when I say I'm gifted in that. In that my whole heart, my whole passion is to see people become all they can be.
Yeah.
That is my entire passion. That's my entire reason for being. And it worked well for me because I was able to be in ministry, and now I'm able to take this to a larger audience.
Mhm.
Because for me, self-image is the basis, it's the foundation for everything else that happens. So that's my background. I have, since we're talking credentials, I told you I'm geeky, I'm learning. So I have 3 certifications in this, 2 classical, 1 biblical, um, because I just want to get the whole orb of it. When I first heard about this 20 years ago, that went well with people being able to be better
Mhm.
because when they see who they are, they light up. Ooh, and that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So, and I see it actually change lives, not just make you feel better.
Yeah.
So that's all my stuff about me. And
Yeah. So so now it's the Ascend You program is self-image, science of sales, personal development, leadership. What was it that prompted you to place such a focus on self-image? I know how important it is, and I know how being an entrepreneur, I know how it drives. I can see how it drives literally just about everything that you do in the world of entrepreneurship. So what prompted you to bring self-image to the forefront of the conversation?
about, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 years ago, I read a book entitled Psycho-Cybernetics, and it talked about your image, what was in you. Um, I wasn't ready for it then, but it piqued my interest because I've always been about the image of somebody, how a person sees themselves. And so there's 2 reasons why I think this is the basis. Number one, because I spent a lot of time, again, around ministries, churches, people. I saw people at their best parts and their worst parts of life. Pastors see all the things of a person's life, from driving up to an accident where there has been a hit and run and the child is still on site but dead.
Mm,
And both the child and the parent were Christians and going to church and want to know why.
mm,
I've come to houses after the wife has discovered incest, found the father in there with the daughter, the brokenness of how that can happen. I've seen all of that happen. And I've seen people in the midst of these kind of things, Otis, get motivated, maybe even inspired, but not transformed. And here's why I say it like that. Because when somebody goes through something like that, or when people are matriculating through life, just going through life, what has happened now in our culture, because it makes money, is we're big on motivation. Just do it. Just do it more. Do it harder. You get up. You get up. You sit. Get up. That kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
only a little bit exaggerating.
Yeah.
Like your only problem is that you're not motivated.
Yeah.
Your only problem is you to make 100 calls today. That's your problem, is that you're lazy.
Mhm.
And motivation, and for some people, and for most, motivation will work, but it's temporary. I got tired of seeing temporary. We know it's temporary because you got to go back.
Yeah.
Now, we always need to be motivated, keep ourselves going. But if we're in a place where we can't move unless we get the next shot of whatever it is, we have to move past that. And a lot of personal growth and development was based on that. Well, let's go deeper. Say we'll go past motivation to inspiration. Inspiration is literally means to be breathed into. So it's when that breath has come into you from someone else, which is good as long as that someone else is feeding you all
Yeah.
the time, which is not bad. We only people are speaking to our lives. Don't get me wrong when I say that. But there's motivation, a little deeper is inspiration. Self-image works at the transformation. Transformation is when you are changed. And when, yes, you have motivation, yes, you have inspiration, but you have been fundamentally transformed so that if those things don't happen, you have the correct picture of yourself. Once you get the correct picture of yourself, that's where transformation happens. Until that happens, we're still building on a faulty foundation.
Mm.
Everything that we do or say, um, whether it's saying things to myself or affirmations, and we'll use those as part of our programs much later. We have a whole audio lab that does that. But what we found out, and this is true, is just saying things that your image does not agree with, it will not take it. That's why you can sit in a mirror and say, I'm wonderful, I'm awesome, not if your image doesn't believe it, not if that is not what's true. So I want to go to the root. So that's why self-image was, and then I saw it in my own personal life.
Mm.
When I came out of ministry for 7 years, it was rough because I didn't understand all the stuff about self-image, but I had left what was a pastorate, which was standing, which was everything that was. And when I left it, what happened here was not what's supposed to happen here. I'm in North Carolina
Yeah.
in one sense.
Yeah.
So now I see what was happening is that I was being enlarged so that I could reach beyond the church.
Mhm.
And when I first came here, I thought that was my only assignment. That dried up. And because it was something else I was supposed to do. I 7 years trying to find myself, 7 years trying to figure out who I was. And you go through everything you can go through. Somebody asked me the other day, hopes don't make anybody upset, but they asked me, how did you go through that season? How did you navigate it? And the last part was I navigated, you can edit this out if you want to. I navigated like Stevie Wonder writes about poorly, poorly. That's what happened.
Yeah.
But out of that poorly came these 9 steps of the self-image method
Mm.
because I had to walk out of that, but I didn't know what I was walking out. Otis,
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was walking into. I didn't know what self-image was really about. And I didn't realize that was the root of what was happening with me. With people, your self-image is the picture, the internal picture. Let me rephrase, internal picture, repeat rather, you have of yourself. And it quietly governs on the down low everything you do. Self-image is a science. There is the science of self-image. This is not the picture you see in the mirror. That's this picture. That's this one. Your self-image is what that interprets that. Your self-image is what's in your unconscious. It's the internal picture you have. That's why you can have, and I've dealt with people who, one young lady, was super thin. I forget what you call that. When you're eating but you're throwing up,
Anorexia.
anorexic.
Mhm.
And it sounds brand anorexic. But when she looked in the mirror and I would talk to her, I counseled with her. She had a therapist,
Mhm.
but I was talking to her. She did not see what we saw. Her picture in the mirror was one of a normal size. I mean, she was a normal, but in her mind, she saw someone super fat, super. And that's because she had been told at one point that she was fat.
Mm.
She was told that in the midst of 4 or 5 people, so that they all laughed at her. And she was told that by her grandparent, who she looked up to, and her mom was in the room. They all laughed. Okay, so what I just explained to you was the 3 ways, was the 3 architects of the self-image.
Yeah.
How self-image is built. And self-image is built in you. And the one we have now, unless we've worked on it, is inherited. It formed long before we did. So it becomes the internal picture. Now, in that scenario I told you, now there are 3 architects or 3 builders of your self-image. This is how we got here. This is extremely important because this is how it changes. Number 1, authority figure. Whoever you looked up to. And we're talking usually when we are younger. That's when this starts. Our image is formed when we're young before we have any say in it. So whatever authority voices we looked up to, it could have been an aunt, an uncle, a coach, a friend, but whoever it is, that is that authoritative voice that said something to us when we were young, you don't think about that, just goes directly into your image. And when it goes there, we don't question it. We just live from it. See what I'm saying? So now when it gets there so young and so deep, it's we don't she never even thought that was the young lady I was talking to. She wasn't thinking there was anything wrong with her. Her mind had already been fixed that she was fat. That authority figure told her she was fat, and they all left. So she could not see that in the picture. Now we were able to change it later. Her and her therapist was, but at that moment, authority figures. So when you're dealing with your own self-image, authority figures. Secondly, repetition.
Mm.
What you hear all the time, and people, please get this. There's a difference between familiar and true. We hear things so many times that they move from familiar to true, but they may never ever been true. Just familiar, repetition, repetition. Not only what somebody said to us, but we said to ourselves. Repetition, repetition. This is a science. Neurons that fire together wire together.
Mm.
Meaning this, if they keep firing together, I keep thinking about the same time, they wire together. Now that it's a part of who I am.
Yeah.
You heard it a number of times. Lastly, emotional intensity. She was in a room with all of her authority figures, and they were all laughing at her. That emotional, it locked it in because it wasn't emotional happening at the same time. Now, I just explained hers, and that was clear. All of us have a self-image that we are operating from. Our self-image is intact down to the letter. It is formed, and it is continually being formed. But it is a picture, and we operate from that picture, and it is largely subconscious. When things are said to us as a child, 3 and 4 and 5 years old, they just go into there and they become something you live from.
Mm.
You're not thinking about them. These are just something that drives. Okay, so when you are being driven by something, you want to see what that is. Because here's the good news. Self-image was formed, and this is the whole premise of my book, The Self-Image Method, and why I do what I do. Self-image is formed so it can be reformed.
Mhm.
It is built so it can be rebuilt. I'm not talking about personal growth right now. I'm talking about the root of personal growth.
Yeah.
The root of personal development is self-image because it's the picture I see of myself. Anything I develop on top of that will be from that picture.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we get right to the root of it. And we have a program that walks us through it. But those are the 3 areas that we have to walk through: the authority, the repetition, the experiences that we have, so that we can see why we are where we are. And terms like imposter syndrome. I love that term. I love terms that are always said a lot, but not really looked into, or just like people say imposter syndrome. Oh my God, oh my God. It's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That fear, failure. You're going to feel all these things that are real, but they're fruit. And that's what I'm saying. Until you deal with the self-image, that's the root. When you deal with the root, let me put it this way. If you try to deal with imposter syndrome without dealing with the root, you will have imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It may not pop up this day, it'll pop up the next day because it's still there, just waiting for you not to be so excited.
Yeah, yeah,
And we
yeah.
want you not to be so angry that it comes. Once you get back to yourself, it's coming because it is still there. It is a symptom. And I see people look at it, dealing with symptoms all the time. You can't deal with this. If you can deal with it, but it's going to come back and come back and come back. Fear of failure. That is not a root. That is a fruit. That is a result of someone whose self image is afraid to take a chance. I don't mean that. I'm not mad about that, but that's the root of it. Anything that we're talking about that are major personal development things, though, they come down to the root of self image.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so big on it, because once you handle that, we handle everything else. Since imposter syndrome is such a big deal right now, I'm not trying to belittle it, but it does not take 3 hours to get out of that.
Yeah.
It does not take an hour to get out of that. Once you understand this principle, imposter syndrome is one thing. It means my opportunities got to me before my self image was ready for it.
Yeah.
This is why new levels demand a new self image to sustain it. That's all that is. I feel like I'm an imposter because my image feels small.
Yeah.
When I'm who I am, my image is right. I walk in every room. And by I mean by that is I don't think I'm better than anyone, but I don't think I'm behind anyone.
Yeah.
My self-image is comfortable in me. That takes care of the imposter syndrome 100%. It is an image problem. It's not an imposter problem.
Mm.
And you can line up all the ones we've been wrestling with, all the ones, and we come down to the work of the self-image. Because once I get my internal picture right, put it like this: self-image defines the possible for you.
Mhm.
It defines what possible, not what's on your offering, not the last email you got for that $10 million deal.
Yeah.
That's not what your self-image defines the image. I mean, defines the area of the possible, because we'll never go beyond what our picture is.
Yeah.
You hear people say things like, we don't deserve stuff like that, or I'm not going to be like that. I talked to a person one time, and they went to this person's house that was really nice, uh, gorgeous house, several acres just for us. And he walked in. The first thing he said was, "Oh, I don't need to be here. Oh, this house is too nice. Ooh, this." Okay, now what happened? His image wasn't ready for it.
Mhm.
You follow what I'm saying? I walked in the same place,
Yeah.
and it's not my house, but I know who I am. I bring something into this room, so now I can enjoy your place. But in his head, the whole time nobody else was talking to him. In his head, now by the way, this person is super intelligent. They're doing very well for themselves, but in their head, they're really small. It defines my possibilities, which means this. We talk about imposter syndrome. Whenever these things come to me, I'm only going to do what I believe I can handle.
Mhm.
I'm only going to handle. I'm not even going to pursue it if I can't handle it. But what raises my ability to handle it? Of course, there's some actual business thing. You business got to be able to handle what it has.
Yeah.
But the possibility that has to happen here first. New levels require a new self-image to sustain it. So we want to move our image first, so then we can move our income, not the other way around. Change your image, change your income, because my income can't go where my image is not,
Mm.
because I will come back to myself.
Right.
I will come back to wherever I'm comfortable with.
Now, what's the difference between self-image and confidence?
Confidence comes from self-image. I love
Yeah.
that you asked that.
Yeah.
Um, Self-confidence, it comes from an image that understands what they're capable of, because part of your image is understanding this. I think a lot of confidence is really more fear than a lack of confidence. And here's why I say that. Because usually we're afraid of what might happen if something else doesn't happen.
Mhm.
Let me tell people how to build their confidence. All still comes from your image. Here's how you do it. And it's all part of the program. You start to make small promises to yourself. I'm going to get up tomorrow at 6 and do this. I'm going to do this. And now lay it out, stuff that you need to do, and that would make you a better person anyway. But start small.
Okay.
Don't try to get up at 4 in the morning if you ain't never got up at 6. Just get up whatever time, or do whatever you're going to do, whatever's going to happen. When you do that, then you learn to trust yourself. And your confidence flows from that trust you have in yourself. Since you could trust yourself to do this, then you can trust yourself to do that.
Got it.
Now, Confidence does not mean there's nothing. Confidence has to go right along with resilience, because I forgot who said that, but a person who is afraid to venture out never discovered anything either. Which means this: some of your confidence is going to take you places bigger than you right now.
Mm.
That's how you learn. That's how you grow. But that means you have to have the bounce back to resilience. A solid self image takes that. It takes failure as data, not a verdict on who I am. I learned that I don't need to do that no more. Okay, well, then let's do this. I'm supremely confident in myself. And I tell people, confidence does not mean that you win every time. Michael Jordan shoes. I'm in Carolina. The I ain't buying, but somebody, the Carolina Blues, he called them,
Yeah.
dropping tomorrow. People going crazy for him. Michael Jordan. I've seen, and I think he's the greatest basketball player ever, but he has missed as many big shots as he has made. As a matter of fact, they'll tell you he missed more. I watched a video the other day of him breaking away and missing a layup. Do we see that anywhere? No. And watch this now. When you ask Michael Jordan if he's the greatest player, he's going to say yes. After he missed that shot, the next time down the floor, you better give him the ball again, because his confidence has not waned. He'll miss 6 shots in a row. Get what I'm saying? You're not talking about his talent. He could miss 6 shots in a row. But the way his mind is, give me the ball, because I'm the one. I got confidence. When you have confidence, even a failure is a learning experience, and it doesn't stop you, because you've learned to trust yourself. I've made these promises. I've made this. I can trust myself. And then learn that if you don't win, then you learn. That's the resilience part. But confidence allows you to take that chance, because your image is solid. And you know that you can take whatever it is that happens. I can recuperate. I can get up. You can't kill me. I'm gonna learn from this. I'm coming back strong.
Amen. Now, talk about DISC for a second, for the few people who may not know what that is and the advantages of learning where you fall into that space, into that DISC conversation.
This is again science. It's a behavioral system that allows you to understand yourself and others better. That's the basis, because it recognizes that people fall into 4 categories. Uh, so back in the Greek times, even before Jesus, you had Greek philosophers, Socrates and them, I forget which one it was, but they recognized that there was 4 different kinds of people. Since then, there's like 3 or 4 cultures. There's 4 different kinds of people. We recognize that. So this, and there's a lot of different personality tests. For me, this goes to your wiring. Because remember, I'm always about image, not your personality is how your image is expressed. Your personality is what your image wears. It's what people see. This is a behavioral system that teaches you how, again, to understand yourself and understand others. There's 4 categories that people fall into. These are not labels. These are not to label. They're to enable and for you to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I will use the color, and I'll use the first letter for each of them. I wrote a book. It's now on Amazon, and it's called "You're Not Difficult, You're Wired," and it is a DISC book. Pretty much, it's a for you to, if you don't understand about this, grab that book off Amazon, or you can grab it off of my website, and you get 2 free audios with it. So you can buy it there too, a digital one. But so DISC is DISC. That's where the word DISC comes from. DISC stands for 4 behavioral types. I'll give the letter and the color. D is red, because red is hot. Red is fire. Red is ready to go. D stands for that determined person, the doer. These are about doing. Let's do something. Let's get it done. Fast in a hurry. Ready for confrontation. Whatever has happened, that's the person that's ready to do something. That's your D. Red. I is yellow. Well, yellow is a bright color. It's a fun color. I is that fun person, influential, inspirational. I is a person talking with their hands. I is the one that loves people. They're not want to be by themselves. Always got a joke. You know an I because they come in the room and everybody knows them. They're just that way. And we need them. The D's are let's get it done. The I's are well, let's have some fun. That's the I's thing. Yellow, boom, boom. S is green. Green makes things grow. The green S is for stable, for solid. Those are your more reserved types. And those are the ones that are listening to the I's and the D's. The S's are everybody's best friend. They're the ones that will just take their time, they're calm. And most of the world is an S or some derivative, an SI, because most people are blends. You have more than one in you. We actually have all four in us, just at different degrees.
Mhm.
That's important to note.
Yeah.
When we do a disc for someone, we'll see the graph, and these are the highs, but the other ones are there. So it's great because that means you can access them if you need to. When we teach disc, we talk about that. You're never without. You can always access it.
Mm.
So what we got? D is red, doer, determined. I is yellow, inspirational, get done. S is solid, steady. Green, that makes things grow. C is the correct, the conscientious. Blue, blues are placid. With a C, you very rarely know what they're thinking. C's and S's, but especially a C. I have a friend like that. I do not know what he's thinking half the time. I just really have to ask him. But C's are correct, conscious, logical, data driven.
Mhm.
So D's, let's get it done. I's, let's make it fun though. S, let's do it together. C, let's do it right.
Mm.
And you need all four of those. You think if you're doing a project, the D's are usually the ones that think of it. They got ideas because they have no boundaries with ideas. Because they believe they can do it. D's get an idea started. D's get Data Points Academy started.
Mm.
D's get Mac Enterprise started. They get stuff started. The I's are the ones that come alongside and push that everywhere. They're so excited about it. And when I's walk into a room, you have to listen. We need them for business. But after we get through talking and getting it done, talking about it, the S's are the ones that put their hands to it.
Mm.
They don't need to be talking. They'll get the job done that you guys been talking. And then the C is the one that checks that work before it goes out the door. So you don't get in criminal trouble. You don't get in legal stuff. We need all of them.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this out here because I've done a number of discs where people were disappointed in who they were.
Because they thought they were. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Give me an example of not obviously not names, but give me
Yeah,
an example
no,
of how that
you
went.
know what, let me tell you this. Most of if you fall into the C and the S range, um, they struggle with it because they see themselves, but C's especially details. I would tell C's when you take this assessment, you have 15 minutes. I want the first answer because if not, they'll be on everywhere. And I love that because when they're doing stuff, checking stuff, the stuff we're doing, I want you to look just like that.
Yeah.
So now here's the power of it. Um, I've done I don't know how many discs, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this. 85 to 90% say the same phrase. I thought something was wrong with it. 85 to 90%.
Mm.
Because they don't understand they don't understand their own wiring. But here's the thing: your wiring fires before your politically correctness does. You're
Yes.
living on your wiring right now.
Yeah.
It fires before you can think, and it's been firing since you were parents, since you were 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. Your child has a disc behavior style. You watch and you can see what it is. Um, so this becomes important. It's not just fun. It becomes important, first of all, because of your relationship with yourself. If you're walking around thinking something's wrong with you, that's not comfortable. You're beating up yourself, and not only that, but you're not using the very thing that is your environment, which is your gift. When you operate in that, that's where you need to be.
Mm.
And so that's the first thing. You become comfortable with yourself. Stop all that stress. And when that's gone, Otis, now you're ready to create. Now you're ready to move. You can't do that until that inner turmoil is taken care of. But just as important is the people you're dealing with, whether that's your spouse, whether that's a business deal. Think about a business deal. When we talked about reds are their D's, they're about getting it done. Determined, not a lot of conversation.
Yeah.
If we come in for work. Okay, great. But imagine that there is an S that comes in to the room. And then S is going to be real quiet. They're going to be reserved. They're not going to do a lot of talking. And they don't like confrontation. They don't like a lot of deadlines. These live on that. It's like, we get this done tomorrow. We can get, but they're already at the next place. Now, what if a D walks into an S's office to have a meeting, or we're going to make a deal? So the D comes in with his D-ness. Here's the proposal. Here's how we can make this work. I'm ready to do this tomorrow. He's into the project because he knows he can get it done. The S, on the other hand, is feeling like, whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I need some time. I need you to ask me how I'm doing. I need you to, you want a cup of coffee? What is happening? And it's too much. And it's not, neither one is wrong. Neither one is wrong. Think about an I and a C. An I is always got a joke, always got a story, always ready to have fun. Don't work, always ready to have fun. A C is about getting the job done. They are more data, they are more tasks than people. Imagine if I comes into a C office, just lit up, just dancing, we're just coming in and doing stuff. How you doing, man? What's it? And the C is like, okay. Now, here's what happens though. And this is why it's so dangerous in business. Because your wirings are firing, and usually people don't know anything about this, but their wirings are firing against each other. They don't know that. So here's what they say: I don't like that dude. Or how about this phrase? There's something about him or something about her. And usually they're thinking the same thing about you. There's something about this person that doesn't. What if, let's go back to the D and the S. What if the D comes to the S office he's trying to make a deal with, and instead of coming in like that, he comes in to S and say, hey, how you doing? How's your wife doing, man? What's going on? And you read him, now he's ready to do business. Now he's like, you know what? I like that dude. He's cool. He's cool because he has tracked you and he's not coming against it. You see how important that is? You can lose deals. You can lose hundreds of thousands. You could use money, but you can also make money.
Yeah.
Because people will think, and this is not manipulation, but they'll think you're the greatest person in the world. If you're able to talk to D in D language, because each one of these has their language that you just like. I remember we went to Europe, and Melvina she understands Spanish a lot. So when we were in Italy, that's kind of the basic Romance language that she could get by. Me, on the other hand, I didn't have any idea of how to speak it. So I did what most Americans do. When you don't speak my language, I speak my language just louder and slower. I don't know yours. Louder and slow. Melvina comes in and they just light up. She tries and she does the stuff. Me talking louder and slower did not make me communicate better. I didn't speak their language. You need to understand how to speak D. That's why when you take a disc, it tells you how to speak to these other ones, but D's have a language. And that language is let's get it done.
Yeah.
I's have a language. That language just have some fun. There's a way you come to them to get to the business. S has a language. C has a language. C's language is data and logic. Don't come to me with stories, with jokes, with surmisings, with hope or dreams. Bring me some facts and data.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, when I know that, I know how to communicate with you. And now I know, Odis, how to do, which is the biggest skill ever, adapting. Because adapting means I stay authentic to myself, but I flex to be able to communicate with you.
Yeah.
The person in the room that can do that is the person with the power, because that person runs he runs everything in the room if he knows how to adapt.
Yeah.
He knows how to speak to the D, right, and speak a whole different way to the S sitting right next to him. You'll say the same thing, but say it in a different way. And most that's natural, because when you get into, you start seeing how people operate, how they do, you may not know all the language for it, but you know this person's not about jokes. Today I could go to the auto store and get something. So I'm coming in my normal self, and the person behind the counter clearly was a hard suit. So, hey, how you doing? I'm doing fine. I made some kind of joke, and they said, yeah, I understand. That's funny. Now, he said it was funny, never left. Got it. So now I shift into a whole nother mode.
Yeah.
My voice drops because his is down here. It's not up here. His is down here. So I come there with him and I start talking his language. And now he's helping me, just won't leave. He just right there with me the whole time
Yeah.
because I understand him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I spoke his language. Now he wasn't going to flex because he doesn't understand this. But because I did, I got what I needed and more. The person that can adapt, first of all, the person understands and knows who you're dealing with. And there are ways, and I think it is in my disc book as well. We do it, but there's ways that you'll be able to spot this pretty quickly when you're in the room with someone. And the office will tell you a lot of it. Most of these offices, the ones I've been to, will have, you can sit in my office. They'll have their plaques, they'll have their whatever they've accomplished, because accomplishments are big for them and for me. And see, the thing is, before I knew this, I was like, and it should be for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
What'd you do it for? But others are like, no, I don't need that.
Yeah.
Because see, it just depends on where you, but understanding it changes everything. Now, if you bring it home, now we'll save your marriage. And I'm not joking when I say that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I mean, only if you're really struggling. When I first did it, me and my wife, years ago, I cried because what we did was a relationship report. We were able to do that, which means we took her disc and my disc and put them in one report right next to each other, face to face, in that sense. So it said, when you communicate with Melvina, you need to be calm. You need to take your time. Okay, well, see, I was the opposite of that. And not only that, because I didn't understand this, I didn't understand why everybody wasn't like that. Why are you not faster at what you're doing? And why did you let that person say that to you
Yeah.
and just walk away from it? And why are we still here? What is, okay, now that was me without understanding what was happening. And I was driving people crazy, Otis. They didn't want to be around me. It was just too much. When I understood that, and we all understood it, because what I did with my disc is I gave it to my team and said, this is who I am. This is who I am. Let's work with this.
Yeah.
When I was a pastor, that back in the day, they had pastors at the door, like greeting everybody. That's great for an S pastor. He wants to touch you. That's great for an I pastor. He can't wait. That's not great for me.
Yeah.
Small talk with every person.
Oh.
Hey, and I'm going, I could be doing something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we saw, here's the thing though, what we set up was, yes, Pastor, we want you to greet, we're going to greet it on your terms. So they'll come into this room, they can ask you questions, things like that. And it worked wonderfully. You just have to find what works for you. But when you bring this home, your spouse and your children, let's start with your spouse, because most people are drawn to the opposite of them. I've done you and Gloria's this.
Yeah. Do you still have a copy of mine?
You know I do.
Send it to me again, because I gotta see. I gotta see that.
When I work with people, I look at that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, then make sure. But see, you and I are, so that was pretty easy for me. But Gloria's an SC.
Mm.
DI is on this side. That's Odis. SC. We're usually drawn to what's opposite. And here's what happens: we're drawn, and opposites attract, and either they attach or they attack.
Mm-hmm.
Usually they attack until they know. Once you know, you realize, oh my God, that fits perfectly with me. I need to be a whole, you have that in your whole life now, as do I, DISC. And because I recognize it, I do my thing. And when I can, let her do her thing. Like if we're together, okay, so like we're planning a trip. I'm gonna do all of, so if I'm going on a cruise, I will know the ship we're going on. I will know where we are on the ship. I will know where that room is so that it's equidistant if I can get it there. I'm going to be doing all of that, which is not necessary. Not necessary. But when we get on the boat, you know what her job is and makes everything work? She enjoys everything.
Mm.
She don't stress on nothing. She just, let's do this. I'm like, well, why didn't they get I want to be one room down. When she does that and I get into, I'm like, I needed that. I need that dog on that seat right now. to calm me down. And there's times she needs me for DI. My point is, you might have attracted someone opposite, but that's because that's what you need.
Mm-hmm.
So move past the first of all, get your disc so you can know. When we were at the Columbia retreat, I did several couples, and I've done very few that it wasn't major over. I mean, good stuff happening right there on the spot.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, it's like revelation. At this point, I'm just sitting there looking at it.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying a lot. I generate the report. But when they see each other, most like, oh, that's what I've been doing. And here's why I cried earlier, because all the things that they said would upset Melvina, would shut her down, is what I was doing,
Mm.
but not on purpose.
Mm.
But I was doing it. I'm like this, you stab me in the stomach on purpose or on accident, I'm still bleeding.
Yeah.
Follow what I'm saying? I didn't mean to do it, but she still,
Yeah.
you know. Oh, and it helped so much. And she was able to see her. She's able to see with the way she communicates because we communicate differently. I'm headlines. I'm to the point. Let's solve this problem. Let's get it done. But I want to have fun doing it.
Yeah.
I can't stand being all stressed out like in a corner. I want to have fun doing that's where my creativity happens. Her, on the other hand, if I'm headlines, she's the paragraph.
Yeah.
Well, you need the paragraph to understand the freaking headlines.
Yeah.
So what I have learned, because when we first started, I was like, can you get to the point? Can you put your running shoes on and get to the point? Is there a point in there somewhere?
Yes.
Here's what has happened since then. And here's what I gave her every freedom to do is this. And here's what she'll say to me. She'll say, baby, I'm gonna get there. But I need to get there my way.
Yeah.
Alrighty. There you go. And she's absolutely right. Because when she gets through, I needed to have heard all that.
Yeah.
Not just the thing. So what I'm saying is, even at home, this is incredible tool for home. It won't make your house perfect,
Yeah.
but it'll make it much better. Your children. You have a D child and don't know it, an I child don't know you. And I've done stuff for children. We have children's discs. My grandson is 11 and knows this because he's very good. No, he's 13 now. I'm sorry, he's 13. He's very good. He told the mom the other day. He's like, I'm really acting that. See, right now, I need you to. He's nice if I know what she said. You're right. It helps, but it really helps, Otis, for me, the internal turmoil within people.
Yeah.
I care about that. I care about that internal thing because not only does it knock you up, it stops your flow.
Yes.
Of
Yes.
doing anything, relationships, money, anything.
Mm.
Get that right there. And almost every time, it's like, I thought something was wrong with me on both ends.
Yeah.
They're like, man, I take a while to do stuff. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
And the other one is saying, I do stuff way too fast. What's wrong with me?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you. And one of the things concept I talks about is there's a difference in being a D and an informed D. And you can be a D and not know it. An informed D knows how to use it for their benefit.
Yes.
They know when to be a D and when to be an S, when to step back and do that, to adapt for a while. I can't live there, but I can adapt.
Yeah.
And then adapting is better. It's adapting, I get the win.
Yeah.
And I understand where I shine.
Man, I recall I could feel my blood pressure going up trying to be patient in a scenario where it's just tough, man. It's just tough. Before I knew that,
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. And see, I think I also did for you. I sent it to you, but I can send it to you again. And for anybody listening, a leadership design, like given your this is what your leadership style is. This is what your challenges are. This is what your strengths are.
Mm.
It is incredibly important to be self-aware because if you're self-aware, then you can exercise self-control. One of the 9 gifts of the spirit, the very last one, is self-control. And we thought that meant just don't kill nobody
Right.
or just don't. No, it means controlling you. I can't control me unless I know me. So since I understand my wiring, I say to Alfred, okay, Alfred, calm down.
Yeah.
It's not, this is not a thing. Simple as this. I'm walking my dog across the street. I'm walking out. The guy comes out of his house and he says, hey, I want you to, your dog's leaving a mess here, and I need you to get up. I say, okay, so no, show me that film.
Yeah.
Now, at this point, I'm a DI, all that's up.
Hmm.
Not necessary to be up, but up. What he was talking about was he likes to walk barefoot in his driveway, and he says sometimes when dogs happen, it's can be some leftover or something, nothing, but something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I never leave anything. So in my eyes, I'm thinking, see, my DI is going way off right now.
Yeah.
Hold up. I'm thinking, why you walk around barefoot outside? There is bug poop, there's bird poop, but that's his house. He can do what he wants.
Yeah.
But at the same, I'm going, okay, so is there any bass in your voice right now?
Yeah.
Are you telling me something? Okay, now all of this is my D&I. Before it ever came out of my mouth, I said to myself, Alfred, that's just backfiring.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening. There was nothing. The guy didn't even look me in the face.
Yeah.
He was just trying to be nice. He just, but like, what? But if I didn't know myself and didn't know how to control myself, it would have been a thing, and a thing for nothing. It would have been me acting childish.
Yeah.
But I understood me. You see what I'm saying? Self control. When you can control yourself, how many of your problems go down? How many of the blow ups? How many of the things that you can't take back?
Yeah.
There's only so far sorry can go.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I'm saying?
I can assure you, as someone who shot a telephone out of anger, yeah.
So what I'm saying though, if I see that, and conversely, there's some S's and C's out there who need to speak up, but they won't.
Yeah.
They S's are givers. They will sacrifice themselves to the nth degree. Which is when I talk to them, I tell them that's not good because at some point that's going to bounce back on you. You're not going to like that.
Yeah.
But since for instance, you need to understand when you are pulling back too much. You know that bugged you.
Yeah.
It's bothering you. You're doing way too much. You are saying it, but you're not speaking up because you don't think your voice is important, and you think that you're supposed to support everyone else. Well, then that's a problem. And we want to work with them. I see a problem, I mean a challenge for you that could hurt you inside because now you're carrying this all around and you really need to say something, but no one's ever given you permission. When you see on paper that what's holding you is you, there's nothing out there, it's you because of your wiring. First of all, you say, okay, that's cool. I ain't gonna speak up every time, but I also know when I need to, I'll be pressing against that, but I can still do it. I can raise that other part of me up and do it.
What would you say the importance is of dealing with somebody that actually understands how to interpret disc versus some of the free ones you get, it, j- all over the place?
So free is free.
Hmm.
And I tell people free, another word for free is it costs nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another way to shorten that is nothing.
Hmm.
So are you worth nothing?
Yeah.
Now you can get a free one. And I think because it's just not that expensive.
Yeah.
If
Well,
you're watching this, you can get one $30-40 from me. You can get on my disc store and just order it by yourself and get one yourself.
yeah.
The difference is this: is sourcing and testing. There are a number of them good ones out there.
Hmm.
24/7 assessment is good. I think Tony Robbins uses that one. I've used that one before.
Yeah.
The one I use that I like the best for me is Robert Rome. I don't down the other ones, but Personality Insights. I'm branded with him. And the reason I use that is because we do a double blind. Or another way of saying that is to get the right answers because we know we got some C's and S's out there and even some B's who might try to figure out and win. So what we do, I tried the first time I took it, I was like, what's the best one? And let me do that.
Mhm.
Okay, so with this, well, how we fix that is we ask you the same question in general, but ask it different ways, ask it in a positive and a negative. It'll read different to you, but it's the same to us.
Mhm.
And what that does, it gives us the graphs we need because on Rome we have two graphs. One is your environment graph, the way people see you, the way you're out at work or whatever, and then your basic graph or your real graph of who you are at home, who you are in your raw state. That's your basic graph. We get those answers by what you would never do. So like we'll give you some and say, what would you do? Would you do this, this, or others? We say, what would you never do? Those are the ones we get. And we take those That's how we know who your basic graph is. And that's who you are. That's your wiring, and it's firing right now.
Yeah.
And it fires at every time. It's most like when we teach self-image, we have 9 steps. That fifth step, the I for image, is intentional action, where we talk about using this, meaning your action should line up with your wiring.
Yeah.
Don't just do stuff because people told you to do it. Do it in the way that fits your wiring. A D does stuff different than an I, does stuff different than an S, does stuff different than a C. Fine, do the project, but do it in the way that fits your wiring. That's intentional action. You're not only does your procrastination go away, which is a big part of that, because I don't want to do stuff when I don't think I know how to do it, or if it's hard, and it's usually hard because it's outside my wiring. Not only will it help that, but you'll be so much more productive, and you'll so much enjoy what you're doing because you'll be doing it along with your wiring.
Yeah.
For instance, DIs should not be by themselves all the time, and I should not be by themselves all the time. They're not going to be productive. They're people.
Mhm.
Conversely, give a C a job. He needs some space. He needs to not be with you.
Yeah.
But you see, if you flip those, you put a C in a group and make them work by the people. You put an I by themselves, it's going to be text every 5 minutes. But if they switch and put themselves in the right environment, same people, different environment. Now that becomes intentional, and now you become super productive.
Mm. I was having a conversation at the retreat with somebody about the not the just the disc assessment, but just assessments in general. And I said it's almost like without the person available, the person that's qualified to interpret it, it's like me getting free X-rays. Yeah, I can say I can brag about getting free X-rays, but I just got some free X-rays. I don't know how to interpret them. I don't know what to do with them, so
Yeah.
they're useless.
Yeah.
And have you? How would you?
Yep.
Well, I have multiple questions, but how would you explain that to somebody more eloquently than I just did?
You know what? I think that's a perfect analogy
Mm,
because the desk, as a matter of fact, when I do disc breakdowns, I call them disc X-rays.
yeah.
That's what I do because it's the same thing. You go into a doctor's office, he shows you an X-ray and points to a spot.
Hmm.
You just all you know is he pointed to a spot, and you hope, but you know he knows what it. And he showed you something and says, "Okay, now here's what you do about it.
Mm,
Let's give you this mess. Let's give you this." So with the disc, you want that interpreted by someone who has done this, and I just that's what I do. But somebody who has done it because they'll see that spot, but then they'll tell you what to do.
yeah.
Um, you see the graph, but where's your intensity, and how does that play? You see the graph, but are any of the other ones arguing with it? There's a lot of stuff that you see or know once you get into understanding this that becomes important. And I'm gonna at this point, another thing we do there is not only do we have a disc, but we have a self-image diagnostic now, which I am so thoroughly excited about.
Yeah.
It measures 7 areas of self-image,
Mhm.
and once you know that, you know where to start.
Mhm.
And then we have group classes. We have a whole self-image class. I have an audio lab that helps you rebuild your install. And I got some one-on-one coaching. If the group doesn't, you want to go to the group and then do that.
Mhm.
It's one thing to point out the problem.
Mhm.
I spent the last years trying to fix it.
Yeah.
So here are the steps we can walk through. And I mentioned briefly the audio lab. I mentioned that because we talked about the 3 architects of the self-image: authority, repetition, and what emotional state you're in. And here's the tag. Here's my little hook for that. The first image was given to you. This time you get to choose.
Yeah.
And how do you choose? Okay, so authority, repetition. So first of all, you're not gonna change the authority because you're gonna choose what authority speaks into your life now. You, yourself, whoever you choose. Repetition. We have an audio lab. Repetition, we have 2 kinds of audios in that lab because repetition is what's going to change you overall. What you've heard over years is how you're acting now. You need to hear something else and choose what it is you need to hear so that you can become the person you want to do. So we've done identity installs. And I have gotten so much feedback from them. It has been incredible because what they are is their self talk, but their self talk around specific areas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. And then you talk about on the last one, you said you should probably get your rookie card now.
Yeah.
It's going to get crazy.
Yeah.
What I do in my one-on-ones, which is about to get crazy, so you better get this now. It's definitely going up.
Yeah.
Is once we work together on a 6-week program, or even the group coaching, I offer. Well, with my one-on-one, you get a personalized identity install just for you.
Yeah.
Here's how that works. I take your disc, I take your strength finder. We've been working for 6 weeks. I know where you are. And then we talk about what areas in your life that need to be strengthened or need to be dealt with. Is it forgiveness of yourself? Is it one of them was I want to think more like a business person. Fine. We put some other stuff in there. Otis, the feedback has been, but it only makes common sense. The very three things that build your self image are the things that rebuild it.
Yeah.
And the installs do just that. I'm the voice on it. You can trust that authority. Repetition, because we build it in there and we use the science behind it. We do have repetition, but we have some other stuff then back to the repetition. And here's the key. When you first learned the basis of who you are, you learn that in just being who you are, just being in a relaxed state. So with this one, the opposite. Here's how we do different. Like when you hear something when you're all tensed up, it can just stick when you're young.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now when you're older, the opposite now. So I need you to be relaxed. We have installs. I want them in the background because they need to get to your subconscious because that's where your self image lives. It doesn't live in the conscious. It lives in the subconscious. Limiting beliefs live in the subconscious, not the conscious. If you can think about it, that's not a limiting belief. That's a negative thought.
Yeah.
The belief is what brings it. And the repetition gets to the belief because you get to change what you believe or install what you want to believe. And so the auto lab is open to everyone, but I'll do a personalized one. That's definitely going up. Not because I'm trying to make more money, but because it has value. Well, maybe more, but it has value to a person. I'm hearing stuff like about the third week of listening to some of them. They're like, the thing I want to be, that's coming out of me now.
Yeah.
That's coming. One of them deals with um, future self imaging, the person I'm becoming. And when that begins to lock in, this is the weirdest one, not because I didn't know this would be it, but the hottest one in there, and the ones that people just listen to and love it, and it's healing and crying, is called I Love Myself.
Mm.
And it is an extended one. Most of them are between 12 and 16 minutes. This one's a full 25. And because most people do not, and when we do Love Myself, it's not 25 minutes of I love myself, I love myself, I love myself. Uh-uh. It is every aspect of it. I love myself when I'm losing. I love myself when I've just fallen down. I love myself when I get up. Because I love myself, I practice self respect every day. I practice self respect by what I allow, what I don't allow. See, you see what I'm saying? Now we're getting into some territory that can do some changing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because again, you can only heal what you love.
Yeah.
You can't grow what you hate. And something inside of you wants to love it. That's why I think too, that's why when they hear that, it's just calling to something they always wanted. You want to naturally love yourself. That's natural. That's a natural thing. When you hear that tape, and because it's fully orbed to deal with so many other things, I respect because I love myself, I take care of my body. Because I love myself, I hydrate. Because I love myself, I sleep and I rest. Because the body is the home that fulfills my vision.
Mm.
When you hear that enough, I have another one called I'm creating healthy habits. Day one, maybe nothing. Around, you keep hearing it. Because I create healthy habits, because my body's important. I create healthy. The things that you are saying pretty soon start coming out because that's the person you want to be in first place. That's why you chose that install.
Yeah.
And it teaches you I eat healthy. And when those things start to come, what will happen is it's not when you hear them, I don't want you ever trying to memorize it, try to repeat after. None of that. I want you doing what you're doing. Go take your walk. Go do your stuff because it's going in there.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind is always listening and it's going to the place it needs to go past this conscious to where that belief lives. Because that belief been living there for quite a while.
Okay. No, so is the person saying the stuff and then just playing it back?
I have done every install. So what I do is I have In the audio lab, and I'll send you the whole overview of it so you can send everybody. It's broken up into topics and broken up into sections. Like one is personal growth, one is self-image, one is finance and wealth, one is health, one is relationships. So what I've done is like 5 or 6 audios within that collection about that theme. So if it's relationships, I bounce back stronger after relationship. I have a healthy relationship with myself. It's me doing. I write them, I record them, and you get to hear them.
Yeah.
You get to hear that voice. And there's a number of them in there. Uh, I have all the topics in front of me, but I think I've said most of them
Mhm.
that are there. But you're going to find something there that meets you where you are. And the key is to hear it enough times. And again, the stuff I'm hearing back and from different personality types, you know, like like the D's or the I's are just like, this is amazing. They're just, this something happened. This is working. This is working. I'm gonna do this. I mean, and they're just lit up. They're like, oh shoot, absolutely. I am that. Anyway, my S's and C's is just, but they come at a different way. What happens, it usually comes out, and they'll tell me this. It came out in a conversation that they didn't expect for it to come out in. And that's how they knew.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you know what? And I told that person I couldn't do that because I have one on this is I set healthy boundaries. That's an install. Now, in the coaching area of the audio lab, we have some before the moment things like before I make the call that matters, um, before I walk away from this, um, be, be after an argument.
Man.
Things like that they're on the flip side of it. And I just kind of sit with you and like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But so we have that in the coaching area. We have the identity installs. Those are the self-talk repetition. I'm becoming this person. The coaching ones are insight. They're like for the moment, you need to all that helps your image. And that's why I put them like that, Otis, because every day, if you they're like 12 to 16 minutes, do that once a day. If you do it more than once a day, that's great. But once a day, think about what's going to happen to you. Put it in your car. Most people do it when they're driving to work. Look here, a couple of them. That's just great time. You're in the car anyway.
Yeah.
So, a lot of them do it when they're walking in the morning. Some of them walk in the morning and they do it then. Others will do it right before they go to sleep because they want that in their mind. Some of them go to sleep, but that's okay. The science is not clear on them, but I'm sure it's not hurting their
Yeah.
brain when they're sleeping.
Yeah. Amen. Well, look, man, I could go on another 2 hours, but I'm going to clip this up because I want to get some of this information out to everybody, man. Ascend you, man, this is going to be really good, man. I can't wait to get the first group.
Yeah, here's the thing. For you all that don't know,
Mm.
but Otis called me about this. His whole concern was about caring for the whole person. That was not, you know, they'll care about the whole person if it benefits something else.
Yeah.
But that's what, when you ask me, that's like, oh my God, yes. Because here is a businessman who I know is going to be a billionaire if he's not already.
Mm.
Not just only because of his business acumen,
Mhm.
that too. And everything that he brings to the table. I just believe you can believe in God or the universe. It's God for me. I believe God will honor that now because you, and not just God, but people, when they see that you get in this program and it's forever,
Mhm.
$6,000, is it?
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I'll make that on my, okay. But I'm not trying to sell that. I'm saying when I see stuff like this, there's care. Remember, I care about people.
Mhm.
I want people right.
Yeah.
Make money too. But my thing is making. So when I heard that and saw that, I was like, so this has gone beyond business.
Mhm.
It is, and it's the kind of business I want to be involved in, where you make a lot of money, but take care of a lot of people and serve a lot of people, and they get better. We make a lot of money. We change stuff, and the ideas and the visions you have about just going into government neighborhoods and helping to change neighborhoods, change just putting money back in the community. Of course, I can get with that,
Yeah.
and that just opened up a whole area for me after this happened, in the sense of being able to care for and love and get to the root of something. I
Yeah.
get so tired of people when I feel like they're being used. Like, that stuff ain't gonna work, and you know it. You just saying that so you can get them to come back again,
Yeah.
because you never told them nothing that's gonna get them out of their stuff.
Yeah.
People be so what we're doing and what you're doing is what I love about it most is because we get to the root of it.
Yeah.
And when people get through I've done a few one-on-ones, and what has happened for them inside of them, what of their business, because remember, your self-image determines the area of the possible. So when I raise my self-image, then I raise my everything else. The first thing you raise is the prices,
Yeah.
because she had such value, but she was beating herself. She didn't understand.
Yeah.
Now she's where she is. She's like, oh, that's cool. I know who I am. I know the value I bring. I also that everybody can't afford this, and everybody's not going to be a part of it. That's fine, but it's no longer a referendum on whether I'm worth it or not,
Yeah.
because I know where my image is.
Change your income or change your image, change your income.
Change your image, change your income.
Man, man. All right, man. Look, we're gonna have to do this again, and as many times as it takes, man. And I think one of the things that I struggle with is trying to get people to understand how much more important self-image is than a lot of the other stuff that I do. Right? I can teach you how to scale up a business. I can teach you how to invest in real estate. But you will never experience peace unless you can become happy with the person that you see when you look in the mirror.
Yeah,
And it's just I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this out, man.
yeah.
I'm gonna get this
And
out.
what we can, yeah, because what we can do, because you said something the other day that I just think was profound. We said a lot of things, but this one thing you said for sure was you give information away.
Mhm.
You pay for the what is the scaling?
The
You pay for
support.
the support,
Yeah.
but you give information away.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is we haven't always mentioned the 9 steps,
Yeah.
and we can just start talking about one of them at a time.
Yeah.
Um, they're all in the book, the self-image method, which they should get. But it's the difference when you're talking about it. I'm actually doing that on audio book too, because I think that's very helpful. Most people are asking about that; they want to hear it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that what you're doing, Oz, and what we're doing is just key for right now. And I think that people are starting to recognize we need to get to the root of some stuff. How many
Yeah.
times am I going to read the same thing and be motivated until I get some transformation?
And go over before we go over the 9 steps really, because we've mentioned it a couple times. Just go over the 9 steps so people get an understanding of what it is.
And you can remember it from the acronym self-image.
Mhm.
Um, the first S is to see the real you. That's self-awareness. That's excavation. We start to um, find what is running our life, much of which was installed before we ever knew it. So we start there, start to see that. That's the S. The E is eliminating the inner critic. The inner critic is that voice that's always talking to us, telling us we can't, maybe we shouldn't. Um, so we deal with the inner critic, but we deal with them by moving to L, which is limiting beliefs.
Mhm.
Because the critic is talking, but it's like every actor on a stage, they have to have a script. The limiting beliefs, which lives underneath all this stuff, provides that script. So we talk about limiting beliefs, how to reframe, how to get to them, how to change them. That's our first 3 steps are excavation. We're getting you ready. The F is future self-imaging. And we start to use visualization in a way that is science, not just some play. Uh, Future self-imaging is this basically this your nervous system, imposter syndrome, all those things. It is familiar. It's safe with what is familiar to them.
Mhm.
That's why when you're around your friends or people that you know, you've been around them a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, need to get off?
No, no, you're good.
With the future self-imaging, what it does is it allows my nervous system to get comfortable with that person,
Mhm.
with my future self,
Yeah.
because you're going someplace. Your future self image that. When you work with, I have you write out who that is. Who's that? And we talk about visualization in this way. It's not only getting your nervous system ready, but it's allowing you to see something before it happens so that when it happens, you're comfortable with it. And if you're not comfortable with it, then your nervous system will reject it
Mhm.
without telling you. It just starts. You get nervous, starting, I got to get out of here. That's it. But if I future self and I start to see that and I start to take some time daily to visualize who I'm going to be and talk to that person. We'll get there in a minute. Talk to that future self now when you're making decisions. Is that what my future self would do?
Yeah.
So, but we teach how to get that person into view. The I, we talked about already, the intentional actions. That's when your disc comes in. The M is mastering self leadership. I told you my background, my PhD is in leadership. But then I thought, what if we applied all those incredible leadership principles to ourselves? Because the one person that you have to lead every day is you. And the better leader you are, the better you are.
Mm-hmm.
So now we master self leadership, which means I'm going to take control of my actions. Mastering self leadership means I coach myself correctly. I learn to be kind to myself. You don't get mean to yourself. You don't call yourself stupid or lazy, because when you do, those are installations. Those aren't just suggestions. You just told yourself that's what you were, and that's what you'll be,
Yeah.
because you can never disagree with who you believe yourself to be. So what we do with the mastering self leadership is teach you how to be kind to yourself, but to lead yourself in the way you need to be. A is the one that was, I think, the most, it's one of those that catch you, but it's so great. Authentic happiness. Here's what we talk about: creating the environment now of happiness so that you can be successful. People say if you're successful, you'll be happy. Opposite. Until you're happy or in where you are, you can never be successful. When I say happy, here's the scientific definition they gave a while back. Oh, they said this: happiness is just simply having a positive thoughts, not negative, a good share of the time. And nothing to do with you giggling or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just means that your mind is not negative, and you start to create the environment around you that makes you happy. And one of the ways you do that in your mind is create a quiet place. Create a place in your mind. I forgot who, I think was I forget his name. Or really, it's somebody that said this. There are people who have houses in the country and by the seaside, and they get to go vacation. But the strong person or the wise person has that in his mind.
Yeah.
He can go there anytime he wants. Why that's important? Because if you're doing deals all day or doing stuff all day, you're going from one to another. You got some emotional carryover if you don't know. You
Right.
come out of a really rough meeting.
Mm-hmm.
I need to learn how to relax and get myself into a place where I can settle down. Because I tell all the time, when you ever take a test, and as soon as it's over, you remember everything you should have wrote because
Yeah.
you were all nervous stuff.
No.
You ever got ready to do a deal and got like this, but as soon as it was over, you thought of everything. This is why this chapter is in there, because if you could do that before, you make a whole bunch of money that you might have lost. Because if I can learn how to relax, and what we teach there is how to get your scripture calls it a secret place, in case people think I just went weird. David said, I have a secret place that I can go to. There's a place in your mind that you create that you can relax in minutes. You can relax in seconds if need to, but minutes probably for most people, which cuts off the emotional carryover. But also this, you can have a vacation every day. And when you do that, I don't mean, but when you do that, can settle your mind, it's from that place you're ready to work and create. That's why it comes first. G is growth habits. And habits are how you reverse engineer that future self energy, that future self.
Mm-hmm.
Habits now, because every habit is a vote for who you want to be,
Yeah.
good or bad.
Yeah.
But listen how powerful this is, though. You can literally have the life you want by putting the habits in your life now that you want. If I want that there, I start the habit now. I'm reverse engineering the life I want. We talk about habits, talk about habit stacking, meaning you do one habit that leads to another. When I do this, I'm going to do that, because your habits are who you are.
Right.
Yeah. What they say, um, repetition is reputation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You keep doing that's who you are. But that's great. We can change ourselves whenever we want. We can put those habits. And lastly is the expanded life. Now I'm living in it. That's where our install tapes come in. I'm living in that life that I've created. How do I continue to do that? That's what we have our install. We from A to Z. Odis, we're not playing. We try to help as much as we possibly can. And then after all that, you then go make a whole bunch of money in 4 DPA,
Yeah. Yeah.
because now you're ready.
Yeah.
And nothing else is holding you. Nothing else is this, we talk a little bit too about forgiveness. Any of those things that can stop you from flowing. That's all in the happiness part. That's all in the, see, it's deeper. It's getting you free from that.
Yeah.
And all that's part of the program. So those are the 9 steps,
Huh.
um, in a nutshell.
I love it, man. I love it. I'm going to make sure that everybody has access to the link for the self-assessment,
Yeah, the self-image diagnostic. Yeah,
self-image diagnostic.
yeah,
Matter of fact, let me write that down so I say it right.
yeah. Please do not you because you know. But
Mm,
if you're hearing me, please don't call it a personality test. Please don't call it it is a self-image diagnostic. It's measuring your self-image. It ain't measuring your personality. And it's free.
yeah, I love that.
And there's even next steps you get. And then you can even part of those next steps can be for DPA where you get to learn with other people. You get into a program where everybody's in the same place, like shit, I didn't know this.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
yeah.
And everybody's like, man, that's where you want to be for growth.
It's time to get after it. Time to get
Yes, right.
after it, man. All right, man. I won't hold you. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get this word out to everybody. I'm continuing to do so, and we should have the first group onboarded either the end of this month, latest beginning of next month. But I wanna get in as quickly as possible, man. So I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Stay in the fight. I'll catch up with you.
I love it. Thank you so much for having us.